Hi, my name is Agni, and I'm the Chief Evangelist for Color Tokens. I have been a CISO and an auditor in previous lives, but here I am at Color Tokens and I'm talking about um, cybersecurity and breach readiness. And I have Harish with me. Harish?
Hi, Agni, how are you? This is Harish Akali. I have around 30 years of experience building IT operations product. I was in Oracle for a very long time, built many products for them. Security compliance is my specialty. I've also done a small startup, and now I'm working with Color Token as CTO. I run engineering and product management.
So, I'm hearing this buzz now. Agentless microsegmentation implementation done in one day. What's this all about?
So I'll start with one of the recent experience. So we were at a customer, they were looking at different products, and then we said, give us a chance. And we asked for 1 hour meeting where we said that we want to give a pitch, and they gave us 1 hour, and we said that we would like to make sure that we do the demo on their data. And they were saying, what does that mean? Typically, we give you a small setup, we have to set up things. I don't think they wanted to do that. We said, we just need 1 hour where we can actually show you the web. Typically, the way it works is the vendors come in, and although they may have improvised on how you do the installation of their platform, and they said, oh yeah, I can do in 1 day, half a day, I can do an installation. And then they said, oh, we did something great. But from customer point of view, all you have done is install your product only on the platform side. Then comes the challenging part, because now you have to think about how to deploy the agents on all the where the workloads are. Then you collect all the network telemetry and then try to make sense of it. So they were thinking that we are going to show them in 1 hour that we can do platform. As you know that we run on SaaS, so platform installation is like we don't even do that. We did not even ask them to deploy an agent. All we asked them, we worked with the IT guys beforehand, and then we said that we like to, they were using one of the EDRs. So we said, okay, we just want to get access to your EDR data that is already being collected. You don't have to make any changes. And then during the meeting, which we had not done any configuration prior to the meeting, we invited the IT guy from the other side, and he came in. We were able to configure their EDR so that we can collect the network telemetry while we were giving the pitch on what our solution is.
You
We
mean while
configured it.
the solution was being discussed?
We were discussing the solution, and we said that, we have been talking to your IT guys, and he's available, and now we have access, read-only access to your object store where all the network telemetry is. That's all we ask for, nothing much. So it's a very simple API configuration. After that thing is done, then we said we want to give the product demo. And then we started the product demo on their data. And they were amazed. They said, like, where is this data coming from? So this is your live data that we had never seen. Right? Within half an hour, while we were working, we were giving the pitch, standard pitch, we were able to collect the data, their assets, their network telemetry, and then we started to ask about what are these applications. We were even able to get the tags that they have defined. And now you go to visualizer, and we were able to show them some of the insights that they were not even aware of, all during 1 minute, 1 hour. Typically, you just do the pitch, and then you are asking for time to do the platform. Then you go over, I want workloads, I want to deploy agents, and this cycle goes on and on and on. You have been a CISO. You know how this works, right? A normal machine, a server, will have an EDR, will have a DLP, will have vulnerability management, log collection, and so on. There's so many agents. And I've yet to come across a vendor who says that my agent is heavy. No one says that. Everybody says that my agent is lightweight and it is intelligent. It doesn't take any CPU. You have an agent, of course, it goes by thing that you have optimized it. Everyone does that, right? People do not understand that it is not the process of taking the bits and putting it onto your computer. There is a lot that goes with respect to getting approvals, aligning the timelines, You have been a CISO in a regulatory environment. You tell me, how was it when a new vendor comes in and says, I have an intelligent agent. It does not take memory, it does not take CPU. Let me deploy it onto your box. And by the way, I'm running as a super user. I'm collecting some data. What would be the bar? Technically, it can be done in a day, but what would be the bar if you were to deploy it on your thousands of workloads?
No, there is a bar, there is disruption, there are operations that you need to that you cannot disrupt. So it's not that easy to think of, suddenly deploying. But I'm still, getting my head around that number. How long did you say it took? 1 hour?
Less than that.
Oh,
So most of the time was okay, we need to create an API on the EDR side so that we can get access to it. After you give us the API, the read-only access, we were able to make API calls from our platform to the EDR platform, pull in the assets, pull in the tags, understand the application, collect the network telemetry, and now the data is available on our side where you can see the full visualization, you can see communication between what are the assets, what are the applications, what are the roles within the applications, who is talking to what, and go deeper into it. So now you have the entire playground within no time, no
and
installation
this
required.
this was riding on top of an EDR which is already deployed and working.
The fortunate thing is almost all the EDRs, they also collect network telemetry for their own reasons, but they make this data available for vendors like us.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Right?
That's brilliant. In fact, now that you say so, it was EDR because EDRs are basically detect and respond. So it means that what you essentially did was to combine the power of detect and respond to the ability to stop lateral movement. That seems to be very powerful from a cyber defense perspective. I mean, I'm getting very excited with this, and that too in an hour, which is amazing. But so how long has this journey been? I mean, how long have you been doing this, and was
Yeah,
this easy?
so
Because it sounds quite complicated.
it is. If it was easy, everybody else would be doing it. But the way we look at is we want to build products where we take the complexities on our side and make sure it is easy for the customer. This is also true from the value point of view. So if you are a buyer and when you are looking at a product, you are typically looking at total cost of ownership, what would be the cost, and then you have to go to your executives and board and justify the thing, right? Once we go through all this thing, and then when we are looking at things that I can control on my end, I want, if you were my buyer and you were in your past life, I want to make sure that you are a hero. We make, we want to make sure you shine. And what can we do to make you shine in front of your management? We give you three things. We give you the maximum value. We give you the least amount of time that we take to take you to that value. We want to make sure that the hassle to get to that value with least amount of time is also less or none. If I'm able to give you these three things and you are able to realize the value in very less time, you are a hero. You are successful, we are successful, then we can talk about how we
Yeah, but
upsell cross sell.
it is not only time. It is also the factor that when as a CISO, the moment you approach your leadership in saying that, I'm working with color tokens and I'm trying to implement microsegmentation, it's just a switch off. But if I'm able to now show value, saying that, we invested in EDR, and now we are trying, and there is a whole lot of things happening across the world in terms of people doing EDR bypass or other mechanisms, or there could be a change management issue. Somebody might not have configured it correctly. I mean, remember the Delta situation. At the end of the day, they realize that it's a human error, right? That's what caused the whole thing. So there is going to be all these risks at all times. But then what you're now giving me as a value is I can go back to my leadership and say, you know what, by connecting these two technologies, the EDR and color tokens X Shield, I am now able to go ahead and do far more than I would have done with either of them because I'm getting a combined power. And that to me is far more exciting because when I go to the leadership asking for money, at the end of the day, the question is, what am I paying for? So, am I paying for more security tools, which I don't understand how it works? But now I can tell them that I'm going to make you more prepared for the next breach, and you would now know if some breach has crossed a particular microsegment, and if it is going ahead, and we can stop it immediately using the new combined power of the two tools. So yeah, it's of great value to me. But tell me your story. I mean, you were on the
Yeah.
verge of telling
So,
that it was
um,
tough, but you reached somewhere.
yeah. Um, Before I go into the specifics of EDR, I'll go over the philosophy of how we build product. Like typically, we know that I spent 30 years building products for IT ops. Right. The best of the breed products where they say that I am the best solution, but I work in isolation does not work. You have to think about that when somebody is managing a complex environment, the product exists. There's an ecosystem around it, right? So now you already have invested into products, not only from the license point of view, but understanding applications, setting up tags, setting up logs, and you want to make sure opening up service tickets and these kind of things. All those things are there. Now, one very important aspect for any product to be successful enterprise is how well you work well with other guys. If you're able to have a cohesive story where all the work that has been done, you can make use of the thing, you fit better in the ecosystem, then you have much better chance of long-term success.
Yeah, that's
Not
true.
a demo here, nothing, right?
Because I don't
So,
think there is a lot of people who are thinking about ecosystem. I think ecosystem is very, very important because that would mean less operational overhead. And from what you're telling me, it means there's just a delta step ahead of the EDR investment. And it sort of makes sense to a CFO as well, saying that, okay, I invested X amount of dollars in EDR. Now you're trying to take that investment forward by introducing a capability to do breach segmentation, breach
right.
screens.
And this ecosystem thing is not that we are the only one who thinks about that. If you look at our competition, they also think about that. The first level of ecosystem where most of the vendors actually do it, they say that I do the initial discovery based on your service now. So I can pull data from there. You're using cloud. I can get discovery and tags from there. Everybody does it, right? We are going above and beyond. We are saying, okay, these things are the table stake. Everyone does it. We also do it. We think we are slightly better, but keeping that aside, everyone does it, right? Now we are trying to say how to get more value, how to be more integrated, which is where I think we have an edge because now we are thinking you have an EDR. So by integrating with EDR, we are able to get two things. First, we are able to make sure that the journey and the difficult long journey for deploying the agent, even to collect the telemetry and understand what those things are and how they are talking to each other, sometimes take months. In a regulatory environment, that's for sure. We talked to some of the customers in the past, and then we can say that agent deployment take 2 minutes. But by the time you go to the nth endpoint, it may be 6 months because you don't get approval from everyone to deploy the agent. Agent fatigue is here. So we are able to shrink that time to make sure that there's no agent deployment. We can give you the visibility I talked about. The second important, which you kind of touched upon, is the breach defense point of view. Now, by integrating with EDR, we can get the network telemetry just by talking to the API. But the more important security benefit that you get is if EDR is able to detect that there is some breach, there is an IOC from EDR, because we are tightly integrated at the API level, we can react to it much quicker in much elegant way. So not only we make operationally easy for you to do deploy and move fast, we also are giving you a lot more value. This is the second level of integration where we
You're
believe we
saying
are
that
the
you can
only
do
one.
containment much faster than any other mechanism that is available because it's coming natively to you, saying that there is a breach.
Exactly.
EDR is detecting it early.
I think the
So which
main thing that
means,
you said is
so which means, sorry, so which means that the value that you're basically now bringing is way beyond whatever we just discussed. It's not only reduced time, it's not only that it's a delta move, it is also that it's a great way to stop ransomware, and it is about supply chain resilience, because now if you are an organization which is sitting in between in a digital supply chain, if you have done your microsegmentation correctly, if you've got EDR, and you detect, as you said, your time to detect uh, a breach is much faster because it's coming natively to you through the integration. Is that what you're saying?
it's actually more than that.
Okay.
So if you look at the previous generations of product who are not tightly integrated, right? And maybe the integration is only at the service now or the cloud tech kind of thing for the initial discovery. Then you define your microsegmentation, right? And there's an EDR and these, assuming it's in a different silo because the integration has not happened in the older generation of products. Then if there is a breach, EDRs, they do a very good job. They detect there's a breach happening, right? They provide a signal, right? But EDRs don't really know the notion of applications and what is important. We kind of put an extra layer on. EDR will say that, yeah, this machine is showing some symptoms. I'm going to take this machine off. But it does not know how this machine is impacting your overall business. What are the pieces that are tying, or what are making a bigger application, and so on. So they can't determine what is the impact of the application. We
You're
bring
saying
that
they're
logic.
contextless.
They are contextless. We bring the context. But more importantly, in the older generation, because these things are in different silos, even though you may be able to identify that EDR identified some problem, now you have to make sure that this data goes into some SIM and SOAR, and now you have to write code. It is not only latency. Now you have to say that this thing has happened on one machine. There is an IOC saying that the breach is happening or something bad going on this machine. I take this machine off. That data eventually goes to your SIM and SOAR. And now you have to write code. You have to write scripts to react to it. So it's not only the latency, first it goes to multiple hops. There is a latency involved. Second, you have to do work. You have to make sure that now you're investing into SOAR. You have to make sure that you're investing into admins who understand what the logical layer for an application and what to do from the network segmentation point of view so that you can contain the breaches. So the value realization is tremendous now. We can actually do cyber defense, model it, and achieve it because we are tightly integrated with EDRs.
I think what you just said, is also something very new. You talked about modeling. So what you're saying is now it is possible using the platform to uh, customize it on the basis of the context of the organization, and therefore build models much before the cyber attack happens. And then when that model, the requirement for that model is met by the EDR, then you can build in capability so that you're able to contain the attack in that particular microsegment. Is that possible now?
Yes,
Wow.
exactly. So in our system, as you know, we let you create the logical applications, we let you create the modeling. We let you create models so that you can see that if I had this template, this goes on, what would be the impact? That functionality has been there. Now we are closing the gap to make sure that when the things, actual bad things are happening, we can react fast. So this way, now you get end-to-end real implementation. It's no longer just that I can model it, I actually make it happen without requiring soap, without requiring more efforts into automating all of these things. They're possible to do it, but time consuming and they cost money. And remember, I want you to be the hero. I want you to make sure that you realize the value as soon as you can. That's where we put all the efforts in. It is not easy, but the mantra is take all the difficulties, take all the complexities on our end so that it's easy on your end. We know that you have to
So
do
the more
firefighting.
complex engineering, the more simpler is the user interface. And
Exactly.
and I understand that part. But so where are you going from here? What's next? What is new and coming? How does a customer, I mean, I know the value that you're showing me is tremendous. I mean, you're implementing it very fast. It's a combination of the EDR and microsegmentation capabilities. You're now able to contain breaches. You're able to be prepared for ransomware. You're able to address supply chain management. Maybe contribute a little bit to third party risk management. But I think. And then you said you're doing modeling, which means, and that gives me a big idea, if it is possible, and I know as a CISO, it was never possible at my time, but if it is possible to do modeling, then I mean cyber defense modeling, that is not the threat modeling, but to model where can an attack be, intercepted and defended at. If that kind of modeling can be done, then I think what organizations could do is use that as a base and then build a process around it, which can be called like a breach ready playbook, which says, okay, if you notice this kind of an indicator of an attack, in that case you need to call up this stakeholder or that stakeholder and tell them that there has been an attack, but we have contained it in that micro segment. But one of your systems is in that micro segment, so those systems will not be available now, while communicating to the rest of the world saying that we had an attack, we've been able to contain it within one microsegment, which means the rest of the business is as usual. You are increasing, it's a contradictory statement. You are increasing the minimum viable digital business, which is great.
Right. And this the thought of trying to add more value, like we said that in the previous generation, the thought was okay, it's a local host firewall kind of solution that lets you create segments. Okay, we do it, others do it too, right? What's the thing? But that's not where the value is. The value is in the integration. The value is making sure that you understand the business. The value is making sure that when the breach does happen, then you use the tools, which is local firewall, host firewall, and those kind of things, which everybody does it, to up level and bring it to the place where you you're able to react and make sure you contain the damage in case there is a breach.
So what's the future? Where do you vision this will
Um,
go? Will AI or something like that play a role
yeah,
here somewhere?
I think you touched upon AI. One of the things that we are coming out very far, very quickly now is we are again understanding that we're not we don't have a product in isolation. We have to play well with other ecosystem. One of the other thing where the industry, if we don't make use of it properly, is things that are coming from MITRE, CISA, and the NVDs. These guys spend a lot of time in trying to make sure they make people aware of what the bad things that are happening. NVD publishes the vulnerabilities. MITRE has all the TTPs on how people are able to do lateral movement and things like that. And CISA advisory is the one that actually tells you what are the bad things that bad guys are exploiting.
They have got profiles.
Yeah. So we bring all of these things together thanks to AI. Now we can process a lot more data. So now you can ask questions. I will be releasing very soon, where you can. Our product is aware of MITRE and CISA and NBD. So when you are modeling or when you want to look at some impact, let's say somebody, you are the CISO and you wake up in the morning and you know that there is a problem like Log4j or something like that, right? All you want to do is like, I have this system where I've invested so much money and time and effort into. I want to know what my impact is. In the older generation, they were working in isolation. They did not think about many of these things that these things are important for CISO, right? Because those are the real problems that you're trying to solve. We are bringing, thanks to AI, a lot of these capabilities in the product. So now you can say, I heard about this thing. Tell me what it is. What is the impact?
Does
Show
this
me the
affect
assets where
me?
I'm exposed. Right.
Does this affect me? Does this situation affect me? One last
Exactly.
question. One last question, and that is, uh, I just want to summarize whatever we discussed. And you did talk about, if you connect an EDR to microsegmentation, it makes sense. And the value is not only reduced agent fatigue, the value is also the combined cybersecurity coverage that somebody would get, the ability to address supply chain risks and third-party risks and ransomware. I see a whole host of those benefits. But one last question, and that is, there are too many EDRs in the market. Do you have a roadmap to cover most of them, some of them? What's the
Yeah.
plan?
I think we can cover majority of them, probably like good 70% of the market share we can cover.
That's brilliant.
The main one is already done. The other ones are work in progress. Hopefully in a month, month and a half, we will have coverage for majority of the top three.
Harish, thank you so much for a quick chat, and I'll catch up again with you.
Sure, Rene, I
Bye.
enjoyed the chat.
Thank you for being
Thanks. Take
here.
care.